So, 10-man Arsenal drop points at the Etihad, and that sent the City fans, City players, and their sympathizers into a frenzy. Meanwhile, big Manchester United, 10 goals in 2 games. Rashford scoring 3 goals, but could not muster 3 points against Crystal Palace. Meanwhile, Nico Jackson became Clinical Jackson against West Ham. This and more will be discussed in today's episode. Please leave your comments in the comment section below, like the video, and more importantly, please press that subscribe button. Let's go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ROP Round of Play podcast, where we discuss all things football and, in particular, the EPL. I'm your guy, Dr. Tobes, and with me, we've got the regular panel. We've got Sir Dixon. How are you feeling today, Sir Dixon?
I greet you, everyone. Good to have everyone on board. Guys, thank you for liking, for watching, for subscribing, and sharing our videos. It inspires us, keeps us moving. We appreciate it.
Confirm.
Thank you very much.
Confirm. And we also got the man that refused to wear his jersey today because Rashford did not score. Mr. Judy, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I'll wait next time, maybe with the 3 points.
Okay.
But it's good to be here
Mm-hmm.
and glad to everyone.
Fantastic. And we also got the jersey collector and part-time Arsenal fan that this weekend he felt proud to be an Arsenal fan again. Mr. Johnny Boy, how are you feeling today?
Hi everyone, it's good to be here. What an explosive weekend we have, and it's good to discuss
Mm-hmm.
everything this evening.
Fantastic. And we also got the man that hates us now so much, he became a Manchester City fan, Mr. Sheon T. How are you doing today? I'm sure you have Alan jersey right now, isn't it?
I don't have a Haaland jersey. I don't rate Man City. I don't respect them. I just hate
But
Arsenal
are
more.
you sure you don't rate Man City? Because I'm sure you were doing the Poznan at home. You drew Blue Moon tattoo on your neck, and also you downloaded all the Oasis soundtrack,
Boko
and
Haram
even
football
almost
can
shaved
never
your head
succeed.
bald.
So
Who told
I'm a
you?
law
Who
abiding
told you? We'll go
citizen.
into all of that.
So
Well,
I'm
we'll see.
against
Jude was so
We'll
happy.
see.
I'm against haram football. That's what I am.
Why?
I'm
Okay,
pro.
I wasn't happy,
we'll get into
but at
that.
the same
We'll
time, I
get
wasn't
into
But then,
that.
sad.
I mean,
Okay.
I think you're right that like this weekend was an exclusive weekend, right? I think going into the weekend, I expected a tight set of games, but Chelsea started us off with a lot of goals, and I think I want to start there as well. Dixon, what we're seeing from Chelsea from Nico Jackson, surprise to you or expected?
Very, very surprising considering how much I've criticized him on this podcast. However, I must give credit to the coach who decided to stick with him, have faith in him. It's a tough job. It's a job where you do not have lots of probation period. It's either you get it right or you go out. So for him to stick out his neck for him and say, okay, you will be a starter every week. I have faith in you. You will deliver at some point, and thankfully Jackson has been able to repay that faith to some extent. So um, of course, some will still say it's too early, but we have to give credit to the team. I mean, if a child does well, you pat him on the back. So
Okay, Jude. I mean, I personally still am skeptical about Maresca and Chelsea. It reminds me a bit of Ole in his first season, right? That there's good vibes. The football is a bit disjointed, but they're managing to score goals. Are you impressed by Maresca? If you listen to some Chelsea fans, right, this guy is the second coming of Pep.
I don't think most Chelsea fans will agree. They're just like
They're excited.
not fully confident. They're excited about the scoreline, the result, but not fully confident. That's just the thing. They don't go into a game being confident. That's where they are now. Maybe next season, if they are still on the same project trajectory, they'll probably be that confident where Arsenal is now going into a game. But for me, I think from the perspective of a striker, I think he's fulfilling what the coach wants him to do. That's why he starts. And luckily for him, he's been
Hmm.
narrowly escaping the games you don't expect him to score. It's just like the four against Tottenham last season. I didn't expect him to give a four goals against Tottenham. So it's the same thing with West Ham. You don't expect him to score, but he gets into those positions and is lucky to convert. Maybe the next game now you won't hear anything
Yeah.
from him,
I mean,
and we'll come back to
I mean,
him again.
the Toves, West Ham just lost 5-1 or so today, right? So
Mhm.
clearly, and Lopetegui is on sack watch. So clearly, there might be something going on there, West Ham. Is it that West Ham were really bad, or at Chelsea, does Chelsea really look as good as Chelsea fans think?
No, no, no. West Ham was definitely very, very, very bad. They're very, very bad. I think they have not they're not used to the new system. They were used to that Moyes, be compact and long the ball up top to Michael Antonio or long it to Paqueta, who was going to do something miraculous. But this time at the weekend they were trying to be more expansive, and so they didn't know how to watch their man, and they didn't know how to run back. Like even the first goal that Jackson scored, I don't think they knew when Jackson
Mm,
went through their midfield. So I just think that they've not yet clicked yet. But at the same time, you have to give credit to Maresca as well, changing the formation, trying to get the boys in to get the best out of Palmer and Jackson and Pedro Neto and
mm,
Jao Felix. I think he's doing okay. If he continues this way, I believe he's going to click. Even the first game against Manchester City, I believe you asked me that question,
yeah,
and I said I think Maresca would actually do something. There are signs that it might click if the boys stay this way.
yeah,
But West Ham were awful. Lopetegui, yeah, if it's West Ham, West Ham don't have patience. By the time they're getting down to the 10th position, he's going to be
be
sacked.
sacked.
So he has a little turnaround to switch things around. Either you go back to Moyes football, play counter-attacking football, but that expansive game, I
Yeah.
don't think they're ready for it.
So Johnny Boy, I believe this last Chelsea West Ham game, Chelsea started with Jackson up top, Chukwuemeka, Sancho, and Cole Palmer, right? And I think if you ask five different Chelsea fans, they will tell you five different preferred starting lineups. From your perspective, do you think that's the strongest Chelsea attack? Because they still managed to win, 3-0, even though, as I said before, I think a lot of that was down to Jackson's individual brilliance and West Ham being terrible. But do you think that's Chelsea's strongest like attacking for who would you bring out, replace, or switch out like in that four?
I wouldn't say it's their strongest, just because, to be honest, I've not really watched much of Chelsea's games this season. But the issue right now is that I think Maresca, the only good thing about Chelsea right now is they're unpredictable. Just like you said, they started Chukwuemeka, Jackson, and Palmer and Wonder. Next
And
week they
Sancho.
might start. They might start Kuku, they might start Felix, they might start Madueke. So that unpredictability about Chelsea right now, that's going to work in his favor.
Hmm.
But Jackson, I don't think I'm really bothered about.
Their style of play is still the same. Just different players, but the same system. I don't
As for
think they're
Jackson,
unpredictable.
we've been here before. My problem with Jackson is not that he doesn't score. My problem with Jackson is that Jackson will score 2 goals today and then go for like 6 games without scoring, score 4 goals, miss like 50 chances, and then nobody will talk about the 50 he misses. The 4 he scores, the people start talking about. So yes, he scored 2 goals.
I think
Credit to him.
Jackson defenders would argue that in Pochettino's Chelsea, Jackson wasn't getting that many chances. So the few chances that he was getting, it was do or die, right? Which is why there's a lot of
Mm.
pressure.
And I'll
And
argue with you on that.
Now that Enzo Maresca's team is creating more chances generally, you're bound to see Jackson score more goals. Do you buy that, or is
I don't buy it at all.
Jackson?
Because I can remember the semi-finals FA Cup. Jackson
Hmm,
missed a lot of chances. I mean, United fans, you guys can attest to that. Jackson missed a lot of chances against Arsenal, Man U. Like I can't
hmm,
even against City this season. The first game he missed chances. So that's the problem with Jackson. That's he doesn't have that clinical edge like a Haaland or
yeah.
Salah. Like he can counter. Like if you give them 3 chances, there's a very high chance it takes 2. Jackson is about 5-6 to score 1. That's the
let's
problem with
let's
Jackson.
stay with you. Let's stay with you, right? And I think you said something interesting that the Chelsea's, I guess, unpredictability is an asset to them. And I think Dr. Toast tried to clarify that the style of play is the same; they're just changing the players. I don't necessarily see it that way because I think Chelsea's attack is made up of very different types of players, right? Palma is different from Nkunku. Nkunku is different
Yeah.
from Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is different from what's this guy's name? Jao Felix.
Madueke.
Madueke is they're all different, right? So it's not even as if they have same profile in all of them are different. But like I want to use this to segue into Manchester United versus Crystal Palace, right? Because one of the major talking points coming into the game or after the game was that Ten Hag decided to drop Rashford for Garnacho, right? In the name of quote unquote rotation. So like I mean, I guess your thoughts on the game in general, and then more specifically about the manager's decision to bench Rashford. When coming into the game, he seemed to be the player in the most form.
The truth about it is that English media are going to complain whether you like it or not. The
Mm,
fact is that the moment Man U didn't win the game, there was always going to be a new story brought up. And unfortunately for Ten Hag, it was Rashford.
mm,
People forget that this same Rashford they're talking about has been off form for a long while. And also, because he scored against Southampton and Barnsley doesn't mean he's all of a sudden back to
on
his
the
best.
on the
I
form.
mean, come on, he played Barnsley and Southampton,
mm.
two of the worst teams you could play. So, I mean, and Garnacho, whether you like it or not, Garnacho has performed well for the manager. So I could
Yeah.
see why he brought Garnacho in. So I have no problem with that. Besides, Rashford, I think Rashford needs a little bit of how will I put it now? Bring it down to his level because he has
Yeah.
been off form for like a year plus now. So at least
Right.
that competition for him, knowing fully well that the manager can drop him for Garnacho or even Ahmad,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing for Rashford. Let's see whether it's going to spark.
Sorry. This Man United section, no, you shouldn't be the one that's asking the questions, Mr.
Why
Shelton. You
now?
shouldn't be the one asking the
You
questions.
don't know what
No,
to
you are
do.
not allowed to
You
ask the
wanna you
question.
wanna turn
You are
this
you're
into
asking
you wanna
you're
turn this
asking
to prosecutor versus like
no,
defendants.
no, no,
That's
no,
that's what
no,
you
no.
want to do.
Some people need to answer some queries.
No, it's
Some
not.
people
It's
said
not
They will
some
queries
answer,
things
they
now.
in
will
It's
answer it,
some
conversation.
people.
Todd. They will answer
Some
it.
people said some things in the last episode saying Manchester United is back.
They'll,
They were
they'll,
scoring
I will
seven
try to
Calm
hold
goals.
them. They'll
down.
try to
Calm
They
hold
were
them.
down.
scoring three
Calm down,
goals.
Doctor
That the
Toes.
way they played,
Calm down, Doctor Toes. All of
etc,
that to be
etc.
encompassed
Rashford is
in.
back. No,
All
no,
of
no.
that to
I have
be
to ask this
encompassed in the
question, sir.
questions that
I
I'm
have to. No,
asking.
no, no, sir. I have to ask this question straight to you, sir. Or you? No, no, no. It's to you. You can ask
Okay,
Jude
sure,
that other question,
sure.
but this one is to you, the Ten Hag defender and
Okay,
Ten Hag backer.
yeah, sure.
Right? Ten Hag is 3 years into his process
Sorry, this
or
is the third year.
project,
He's been
or
2 years.
or
This is the
or
third year.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
3 years
yeah,
in.
the
Three
third
years
year,
in. That's
the
what we're
third
saying.
year into
He's into
the
his third year.
process.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, it's into the third year of the process.
Uh
If
huh.
you don't want to say process of the project, if you don't want to say project of the rebuild,
Okay. Yeah.
is entering the third year of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? By now, he should know his time of play. By now, he should be able to dismantle teams. How come that Ten Hag, with all of the money and superstar top class players that he have,
Rashford.
could not dismantle this Glasner's
Mm.
little Crystal Palace that he doesn't even, he's still trying to figure out how to play. Crystal Palace only played like 5 minutes at the end of the first half, 5 minutes at the end of the second half, but yet Man United could not do anything.
Mm.
How do you explain that? How do you defend Ten Hag's
No,
tactics?
he's waiting. He's waiting to get to year 6 so that he can be celebrating 1 point at Etihad. That's what he's waiting
Okay,
for. He's waiting to get to
all
year 6
right.
of the process, like Arteta, so that we can be celebrating one
Hmm.
point at Etihad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what he's
But
waiting for.
I would like to remind you that in our own processes, we were slapping
Eh?
Crystal
No,
Palace
and
for
so in your
Edinburgh.
in your
Yeah.
6 years, you have one FA Cup to show for it and 1 point
Yes.
at
Yeah,
Etihad.
so which
In
means
our
that
three
you
years,
guys
we
should
have
be,
one FA
you
Cup,
guys,
one
no.
Carabao.
It means that you
Okay.
guys are better. It means you guys are better. So if we are beating Crystal Palace 2-0, 3-0, and you guys are better, then you should be slapping Crystal Palace 7-8, no?
Just
If,
as you
if if
By
only
predicted.
that
football was
logic.
mass now. If only football was
No,
mass
no,
like that. And
you are
this is
using
why
logic now. Since you want to use logic, let's continue with the
this
logic.
is why this is why I was
It's
getting
late
at when I
now.
said my question wouldn't compass it, because if you want to make this like an attack, this thing, I'll give you
It's
foolish
not an
answer.
attack. It's a
If you ask me
question. It's not.
one kind
It's not.
question, I'll give you
It's
one kind
no, no.
answer.
It's not. It's a question. You
Okay.
have to give us the answer.
No,
Why? What do you think about the question? Was what do you think about Ten Hag's tactics and his strategy
so
that could not break down simple Crystal Palace that had Eze and Nketa. Nketa was even playing like
A winger.
he
yeah,
left
Nketiah
so
was a
I mean,
winger at
okay,
this
so
right
moment.
so
eight.
let me treat your question seriously and answer it, right?
Please treat it serious. It's a serious question, sir.
As
Thank you.
as Johnny Boy alluded to, right? Manchester United are the biggest team
I've
in
finished.
probably the world, to a lot of media attention. I think
I've
unfortunately for
finished.
Ten Hag, every decision he makes is micro-analyzed, especially if we don't win. So whereas the explanation is simply we're unlucky. Yeah, days like that. Dean Henderson was man of the match. We hit the bar twice. We're just unlucky. But instead, everything
Yeah,
gets
Bar is still off target, by the way.
Bar is
Yeah.
off target, sure. Everything gets microanalyzed because it's Ten Hag. So the only answer he can have is win. Me personally, I remain as confident as I was coming into the season, and I'll tell you why. Because from my perspective, the fundamentals have improved significantly. Whereas this time last season, with the same midfield, Ericsson, Mino, and Bruno against Crystal Palace away, we considered like 20 shots or so throughout the game. And we took that same midfield and were able to dominate. As far as I'm concerned, there is an improvement across the board. So
No, no, you didn't dominate.
we
They gave you
dominated this game
possession.
against Crystal
No,
Palace.
no,
We
no, no, no,
dominated
no,
from
no,
start to
no, no.
finish.
Crystal Palace were playing negative football. That's not domination. They gave you guys the
Again with the
ball.
ball, and
They told
those
you
are
guys to
chances as
come, and you
well.
didn't do anything with
I
it.
don't recall anybody from Crystal Palace
That is why
handing the ball
that
over
is why they only played for
to
5 minutes at the end of the first
Manu.
half, 5 minutes at the end of the second half, because they let you guys do huff and puff, huff and puff. You're not doing
Wait,
anything. They
so
say,
are
okay,
you
Eze,
asking me my opinion,
go
or
and
you
do
want to tell me
something.
what you saw?
No,
Okay.
all of the above, all joy. Now all combined,
No, no,
combine the level.
no. So I mean, I get what you're saying, right? And I get the narrative that you want to push from your perspective, right? That
It's not
United
a
are.
narrative. It no. As Dixon always says, I watch football with my
Me,
eyes.
if I watch
I
football with
don't
my own eye
watch.
now, not be my eyes I use watch
I don't
football.
think
It's my eyes that I
it's
use.
not the tactics. I think the killer instincts in the players was also the issue in that game because we could have buried that game in the first half. So tactics worked to me, but we should have buried the game otherwise. And Crystal Palace were unlucky not to take
Let
their
me ask you a
chances
question, Jude.
too.
Right? I mean, and I want to take this off me so it won't become me versus Doctor Toes, right? Because this is what I wanted to avoid.
No, no. My question has been answered. I'm okay.
Yeah, what I wanted
I've
to
done.
avoid,
I've done
right?
the Lord's work.
Jude. I mean, the way I see it, right? Unlike last season, unlike the season before, where we were getting points, but we were playing nonsense. Basically, every single game we're conceding a lot of shots. We couldn't retain possession or whatever. I feel that like if
Just
we
injuries,
continue doing
injuries,
what
injuries.
we're doing right now, if we continue doing what we're doing right now, the goals will come. Do you disagree? You don't see it that way. See it that way. Where do you see like this team progressing? Or how do you see us progressing, basically?
Oh, if it's about progress, I think we are progressing. That's one. But if it's about the goals coming, that's question
Yeah, no,
mark.
Okay.
that
Are you
it's
what? What
it's
progress
about
is
the
this?
goals
Are you
coming.
progressing with the ball, or we need to
You can
clarify?
progress without the goals
You can
coming.
progress.
No, no, I'm saying
You can progress.
without
I
the
want
goals
to know.
coming. Not about
Me,
goals.
me, and the audience would like to know this progress you
Because
speak
even
of.
Okay,
today, I
so
expected
I
more.
can give you specifically now progress. We're
Oh, yeah,
conceding
I'm
Onana at
asking Jude.
least
I'm
is
asking Jude.
making.
we're
Onana is
conceding
The
making
less
research
more
shots.
saves
last
We're
than
Jude.
conceding less
what
shots than we
he did
did
last
last
season.
season. We're
We're
creating more
asking
chances
Jude.
than we
The
did last
defense
season.
is becoming more
Ball
solid.
possession more than we did last season. In terms of our position on the pitch, we're playing higher up the pitch than we did last season. There's progress in every single aspect of our football aside from goals.
It's just the
And that's
scoring.
what I'm asking you, Jude. Do you think it's going to get worse or better? Because my own hypothesis is that if you keep doing what you're doing right now, goals will come. Um,
I think. I think I'll give. From what I've been watching, I'll give Nistelrooy some kudos because
Hmm.
they've been trying their shots at least. Maybe if they keep, like you said, if they keep trying, maybe in the fifth
One
or
day,
sixth
yeah.
one, like in December, we might start having
I
more
didn't see goals today against
for
20 though.
against 20. They had like I didn't watch most of the game, but
it was a similar situation
it's
to Crystal Palace where I mean, and let me ask Dixie now. Let's bring this
a
into the
different
conversation, right?
gameplay.
Um, one major talking point from the Crystal Palace game was Bruno Fernandes. And it seems like Man U's problem this season would be breaking down low blocks. Because if we're better at retaining the ball, if we're better at keeping the pressure, our issue now would be can we break down a team that is defending deep against us? And it doesn't seem like with Bruno Fernandes we can. Where do you fall on this Bruno conversation? Because there's some United fans that don't like him, and there are some that think he's our savior and needs to stay in the team.
I think Bruno is a very, very important part of Manchester United's football. In terms of you look at his goal contribution, whether it's assist or scoring, and in that midfield, it seems to be it's like the focal point, connecting the everything we are doing going forward. Maybe if we analyze him without those his tantrums he throws, like
Mm.
flying his arm, rolling on the floor, or harassing referees, I think is a very important part of our play. Having said that, to stop teams that to stop teams that keep low block against Manchester United, I think we need to even have a clearly defined forward. And I don't just mean forward by a striker, I mean forward team. So you
Mm,
look at Arsenal, for example, off the top of my head, I know Arsenal's forward will be Saka, Kai Havertz, Martinelli,
Martinelli.
or Trossard, most likely.
Yeah.
You look at Liverpool, is Salah, this coach likes Luis Diaz, and so it's going to be
Jota.
Salah, Luis Diaz, or he uses Gakpo,
Mm,
or he
Jota.
uses
Jota.
Jota. He's not a big fan of Nunes. So you can predict the people that will be up front. But with Manchester United, you are not sure the exact. Today it will be
Mm,
Ziggy will be forward.
mm,
Tomorrow it will be Rashford. Next, Garnacho will play left wing. Today, Christensen started. So my point is there's so much in Ten Hag. That brings us back to the question of Ten Hag. In his third year, I think by now we
Mm.
should know his every United fan should be able to say this is Manchester United starting 11.
yeah.
Even
Okay.
But
opposition
unfortunately, we don't.
will want to
Let's
know.
go through it right now, right? We have Onana in goal. It seems like Premier League Mazraoui is the starting right back, right? It does seem that way. Mazraoui deletes Martinez and Dalo for the in the defense, right? That midfield question. How do you feel about this Ericsson inclusion now? Because it seems like he's the key part of us being able to play football. Future in the team, we should be moving on quick, quick.
I don't think I've seen Ericsson enough
Mm,
lately to even have a position on him
yeah.
because he's been a very bit part player. So I don't really have a
Too much of an
I don't have
opinion.
any. Yes,
Okay,
I'm opinion.
Dr. Toves, if you can find it in your heart to be objective somewhat, right? I want to get
I'm,
your
I'm always
thoughts
objective.
on the game because if you
My
some United fans
objectivity
will
might be
say
subjective, but I'm objective.
some fans will say that or some one way to frame the Man United situation is that we are where Arsenal was 2 years ago.
No, you're not.
I'm not. This is the question, right?
Joe, United fan, he said
I
no.
am saying it. I'm saying, and I'm putting it
Hmm.
forward as what some United fans say, and I'll go into detail of why I'm saying that. Right. Some
Okay.
United fans believe that Arteta and Arsenal is a model to look at because they got to a point after Arteta's first season took over from Emery, rubbish first season, came eighth, won an FA Cup, great. Second season came eighth, no trophy, but at least some Arsenal fans said they were seeing progress. Third season he came fifth, right? But some Master fans said they were seeing progress because the fundamentals, things like XG, things like possession, the way he was managing the squad and everything like that.
With worse players, with terrible
With
players,
worse
you have to add
players,
that. Yes, you have to add that in
okay,
there.
with worse players and
Yes.
everything, right? From my perspective, what should a United fan be looking at now if they want to try and judge the long term potential of Ten Hag? What should you be looking at to see today? Should you be watching the XG? Should you be watching the possession? Should you be watching the points on the board? What should United fans be looking at now to be able to determine if we're on the right track or not?
Right. Since you they're using an analogy or there's an analogous,
Mm,
right? The thing you have to be looking at is consistency. How consistent are Manchester United's results going to be? How consistent are their
results or the
style of
style of
play?
play?
The results and style of play. How consistent? How are the players adapting into the style of play? If you're not adapting to the style of play, you're back to square one, right? Is it changing it every week? Is the result the same every week? Like how consistent? It's just consistency
Mm,
that we'll also use for the refs later, by the way.
yeah.
But I think what they should be looking out for is consistency. That is as objective as I can be without trolling.
No,
So I'll
it's
leave it
fine.
there.
And I mean, now that you brought it up, let's use the opportunity to segue into the game of the weekend, right? Arsenal versus Man City. Started off,
Game of the season so far.
yeah, game of the season so far, and I mean, it's been 5 games. Arsenal fans should calm the fuck down. It's been 5 games, right? I went through the
We're calm.
history, right?
We're calm. Oh.
Calm down. I went through the history of the Premier League over the last 3 seasons. As of game week 5, nobody positioned in game week 5 was the same position that they were in at the end of the season. Sure, everybody should calm the hell down. But I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you're entitled to gas up yourself if you like, right? The game started with a bang. I made some money off of Haaland scoring because that was a sure bet for me. Um, But Haaland scored. Game started with a bang, and quickly some could say Arsenal scored Ojoro goal because the goal was the referee was still talking, and then next
No,
thing
he
you know they
wasn't.
scored 2-1. It
No,
seemed
no,
like
let him land all his questions,
yeah,
or let him do all
we're
his
laying the
agenda.
table. We're setting the table essentially.
Oh,
So
you're laying the
depending
carpet.
on where you stand, this was either Arsenal being robbed or justice being served. Obviously, I know where you stand, right? And I know
You
you would
don't.
say Arsenal's defense was the strongest thing, is the strongest thing ever since Oluma Rock. But I mean, as an
Zuma rock, Zuma.
Zuma Rock, okay, Arsenal defense is the strongest
Mm.
thing ever since Zuma Rock. But I guess from your perspective, right, as an Arsenal fan, I know you feel good, you feel wonderful. Tell me about like Haaland. Like, how do you feel about like the whole after the game thing? And you can give your whole thoughts on the game, but specifically the
So
disrespect and all that
you
shit.
set all these traps, and you want to go to the end of the game. Okay, we'll do Hollywood
Anyhow you
stuff.
want.
We'll start from the ending and say 2 weeks. It's two
Mm,
weeks earlier. Okay, let's come back. How do I feel about Haaland's what?
yeah, I
Your
mean
question
the
exactly. So I
okay,
can
no.
answer it
How
directly.
do you think, because many people are saying now the rivalry between Man City and Arsenal is beginning to form like Man U and Arsenal of those days. Do you think that's what's happening? Do you see like the rivalry building between Arsenal and Man City in terms of like both teams know they're on the same level? How do you feel about the rivalry basically that's burgeoning?
Well, for me personally, the rivalry already started since last season. The
Okay.
rivalry started in the January transfer window when they were asking before we played Manchester City, and Pep was saying something like, "Oh, Arteta is that kind of manager that always go to the board, give me money, give me money, give me money." He was trying to throw a dig there. At that time, we're top of the league. So to me, the rivalry had already started. I don't look at what fans say; I look at what managers say. Because they're the ones that are playing the games. They're the ones that are looking at the strategy. They're the ones that are building the team. And Arteta's response was not to sign anybody in January, and we still were very close to them. So I think the rivalry started then. And if you even watch when if like last season as well, if you watch every time Arsenal played Manchester City, whether in the FA, whether in the Community Shield, or whether it was at the Etihad or at the Emirates, look at Pep's reaction every single time. He is restless. He is tensed, right? He is scratching his head all the time because he knows the person that is on the other touchline. He brought that guy in since the guy was 15 years old to come and help him to change his life. He knows the football genius, not Tenak genius. He knows football genius that the guy is. He knows his tactical nous. He knows his strategic, how the guy sees, how the guy plays football. So I think Pep has been scared. Rival fans are just saying it now because they want people that are going to be standing up to them. They always want all these people shouting in the media. Rodri coming up. Look, the City players already know they are tensed, they are shook, they are rattled. Rodri's coming out to shout at the end of last season. The last weekend he came out to even injure himself because he was trying to form mentality
He
monster.
injured
He came
himself.
he came he injured himself.
Wow.
One first in the first now this is 2 weeks. Let's bring it back. The first 4 seconds, what does he do? He tried to barge into Kai Havertz. You think that he's playing with Shamak.
Mm.
Havertz giving Kurumbejo, and the guy who was lying there wanted to send him, wanted to get a red card. They want to give Kai Havertz a red card beginning of the game. You didn't see them doing this with any other team. They don't do it with Manchester United. They didn't even do it with Liverpool when Liverpool was their challengers. But it is us they're trying to do it to. He would kept falling up and down, and then he injured himself. He hurt himself in trying to feign injury.
Mm. I
You know,
read I
you can
read
say it's
something
a season
today.
long.
I read something today that the Premier League managers have reported us now to the FA for dark cards
They
or
can go
something.
and
No, I
report.
want I
They
want to ask a
can go and
question.
report.
I want to ask a question, right? Do you
Yes.
like, and I kind of like, because I don't mind this type of football, but do you like that your manager seems to be going down a Mourinho path? He seems to be like, and I think that's impressive, right?
What what
He seems
what
to
does
be
that mean?
taking a more pragmatic approach. How do you feel about that, like in general?
How do I feel about what?
Your manager taking a more
Because
pragmatic
you said
approach.
dark heart, you said pragmatic. I need to know. You have to be specific with your questions, sir.
Pragmatic, very pragmatic. Your manager is taking a more pragmatic approach.
I don't see anything pragmatic with his approach
Okay.
at all. And anybody that sees anything pragmatic in the first half of the game, should I go and wash their eyes, or they just want to be
Do
biased
you
for no
mean the
reason?
first half or the last 20 minutes of the first half? Because for the first 30 minutes, Savinho was cooking Savinho was cooking
Why
California.
was he cooking? Because why was he cooking? Where was our line? We're up the pitch. We didn't come there to defend in the first 20 minutes.
Wow.
We were trying to be expansive in the
Okay.
first place. Right. The only thing was California was shaky, new to the game,
That
Etihad,
was his
all of
first
that
start.
stuff.
I
And
get it.
then he scored this wonder goal, and then that was it. Partey did a split through pass. That was it. We change,
Wait,
you know.
Johnny Boy.
As Olamide once said, Street to take over. As soon as Partey gave that through ball, Street took over. We took over the game. They were shook.
Hmm.
They were shook. You if I no, we are going too far, right? We are going too far. Even when Kai have no, when Rodri tried to get Havertz injured, look at Pep Guardiola's reaction. He was scratching his head that what are these players doing?
Hmm.
Arsenal has gotten under their skin, right? They're celebrating the equalizer like they've won the game.
Hmm.
And Havertz coming to say, be humble. You are
Hmm.
the one that could not get any sniff in
Hmm.
an entire game, and you're the one coming to say to a
Aside
manager,
from the
be
goal that he
humble.
scored,
How can you say, how can you tell somebody be humble, but you're the one that is being braggadocious? It does not
I
make any
mean,
sense.
Johnny Boy, I'm curious to hear your own thoughts on this, right? Because
Bernardo
it
Silva
seems
coming to little bro. In fact, there's too much agenda.
it
Let me keep
seems
quiet
like
when I
it
so but
seems pretty obvious to everybody, aside from Dr. Toves, that Arteta has become more pragmatic in his style of football. I'm surprised. Do you disagree, or are you with Dr. Toves
wait,
that
wait,
like
wait, wait. Oh, no, 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 no. Before you ask that question,
okay?
must everyone play the Pep Guardiola way?
Exactly. They
No,
don't have.
everyone
There are
must
many
not.
ways to
That's
skin the
not
cat.
that's not the conversation. I'm only asking a simple
No, okay,
question.
no, no. That is because that is where the conversation is
No, it's
going.
not. That's not where it's going.
If you're not playing pragmatic football, you're playing expansive football.
And to
And
me,
Arteta doesn't want to play expansive football because does not have the strikers to play expansive football.
Dr. Tools, I think
Arteta
maybe you guys
mirrors
might
his
have a chip
opponent.
on your shoulder, right? I'm not going down that path.
You are
I'm just
going down that
asking.
path. That is where that is the end goal.
No, it's not. It's not.
Arteta
I
mirrors his
promise you, it's not the
opponent.
end goal.
Please,
I
that's what he
think,
does.
Johnny Boy, I think for me, the way I've seen Arsenal, I think Arteta's style of play has evolved between last season and this season, and
It
between
has
the season
evolved.
before
I,
that
I,
and last
I
season.
don't think so.
The improvements, first of all, last season has been in the defensive side, and I think this season he has taken it up a notch in terms of like the pragmatism. I'm not against it. I'm Mourinho. I'm a
There is
Mourinho lover.
we
I
don't
like
have
Madrid,
Odegaard.
classic Madrid or classic
We don't. But the thing is,
Man
the
I
thing
United.
is,
wouldn't call
this
it
question, this
pragmatic.
question, we don't have Odegaard. We have a thinner squad. How? So you want these guys to run their legs off in the
Um,
first 5 games,
it's one thing to
and so
say.
that what you
It's
can now
one
say
thing
that
to
Arsenal
say.
should have signed more players in the summer.
I
Like
will never
Dr.
call it
Toves,
give
pragmatic.
the coach some credit instead
Dr.
of
Toves
trying to
and
drag
Johnny
him down.
Boy, it's one thing to say
I
that
will keep
you are being
quiet now.
pragmatic
That's
for a reason. It's another thing to say that you're not. Right? We're not making a value judgment on the style of play.
So
Ignore
to
what is
me,
going on in my background. This is just for trolling.
to
Right?
me,
I'm asking you a
no. But you're
question.
saying
Do you
are
see?
you worried? You said are you worried that he's going more pragmatic?
Yeah, because some Arsenal
If you're
fans.
saying he's worried, it means there is a problem. There should be a concern.
Okay, one of the biggest Arsenal fan channels in football right now is Ligona. He's a very loud Arsenal fan. Used to be on AFTV, very opinionated. I think Ligona represents a. Do you know who Ligona is? Represents a large contingency of the Arsenal fan base. And I think some Arsenal fans do feel this way. I'm asking you if you share that concern, or if you think this is what is necessary for Arsenal to take the next step. Because I think it is. I think what Arteta has learned from last season to this season is that they need to be a lot more compact, and that's what's being implemented. Take the compliments when you hear it. But yeah,
No, it's not a compliment because
to me,
you're just
I
saying.
think it's just simple. What I
Sorry, Johnny, but let me just finish this one, and I'm going to keep quiet. I promise I'll keep quiet because that question is not right.
pressure.
He's saying
Mm,
it changed from last. It is not changed from last season.
okay.
We're playing while we played last season. The only difference is we don't have the players to run and finish all our energy.
Mm.
So we're saving our energy. We only have a few people now. Timber is injured. Raya is injured. Right. Even today, the Louis Kelly, the 18-year-old boy, got injured today. So our boys are dropping like flies, and you guys still want us to be expansive and give entertaining you
Nobody
guys so
wants
that
you
you
to
can
do
say, "Oh,
anything.
Arsenal."
This
Anyways,
this
I'm done. I'll
pressure,
be
this
quiet.
thing that
Let
you're
me
doing,
guys
Doctor
take
Toast,
over.
is just pressure that you're
It's not
feeling.
pressure. That's why you're a
Nobody
to
has
me,
Manchester
nobody
City
said
fan.
anything.
to
You're a
me, it's just
Manchester
simple.
City
What
fan.
Ateta is doing is that Ateta mirrors his opponent. So
Okay.
he's not being pragmatic anything. It's just that you give your opponents respect. Like I said, we are going to play everybody that plays Man City is always pragmatic. You can't go to Man City and play them guns. You will lose. Even Madrid, that is considered like the best team in Europe, they went to Man City Stadium last season. What did they do? They sat back and were playing counter. So I don't say news. I don't see anything what Arteta is doing. I'm even happy for what he did. Uh,
I think it is pragmatism against Aston Villa.
exactly. They were not.
Anyway.
The only thing about it is that
Mm,
Arsenal just had to beat. But people call it pragmatic. It's not being pragmatic. We still attack. We have chances.
we didn't have we didn't have rice, so we should
So
come and
I don't
be
get where all this is
forming
coming from.
defense.
Okay, I mean
You
Dixon.
give respect to your opponents. Doesn't mean you're being pragmatic. And
Yeah, no, that's
City
fair.
were shook. City were shook. If not for the help
Mm,
of the referee, Arsenal
mm.
should have won that game. But it's all good. And like Gabriel said,
Arsenal cool. We don't know if we should have, but we could have.
no,
Could have been.
we would have collected
If
3 points
if
now.
Rodri was
We would have
standing,
collected our 3 points.
if Rodri was standing, I don't think
You didn't
Arsenal
say.
would.
Rodri or no
As
Rodri,
Gabriel has said,
you
I
guys,
don't
in
think
the words of
you
Arsenal
guys
would
are
if
Gabriel, in the
still,
Rodri
words of
you
was.
guys are
Gabriel,
still
You took out the
in the words
I
of
midfield.
mean,
Gabriel, we are waiting for them in
Look at
Emirates. We are waiting for
the
them
you're
at
for
the
them in
the,
the
Emirates.
the
Emirates, I
stem
mean.
of the root of
No,
their
Jude,
midfield.
Jude and Dixon. I think starting with you, Jude. Same question: is Premier League Arsenal's birthright? It's only been 5 games, right? But the way these Arsenal fans are talking is as if somewhere, the same way they decided to give Vinicius, somewhere in the committee, everybody has already decided to hand us now the trophy this season. Am I missing something? It's only been 5 games.
yes.
Give me your feedback on this Man City game in general, and comment on whether or not Arsenal
Dude,
is
dude,
the
sub question,
destined
sub
winner.
question,
Sorry,
sub
sorry,
question,
I can't remember any Arsenal
sub.
fans say we're going to win the league. I can't remember
Is
Don't
anybody.
mind me.
is your bet right
I
now?
did.
It has to
I did.
be because
And
that's
I
the only
said,
way this conversation will
um,
have it make sense. Like I don't understand. Okay, Dixon,
he's
you
gone.
you then.
So Dixon, sub question. If in your first 5 games you have Aston Villa away,
Tottenham away.
Tottenham away, Manchester City away, and you have 7 out of possible 9 points, won't you be excited? Sub question. That's all.
So the question is for who?
It's for you,
Myself
For,
or
for
Dixon.
Shino?
Yeah,
you,
it's for you,
for you
Dixon.
now.
It's
For
for
me.
you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, I'll be excited. I think Arsenal has played 3 of their toughest games. So I get the reason for the optimism and excitement. I think it's just sensible that they should be excited. 100%. On my thought about the game, hmm.
No, but as
You
an
remember
as an
last week?
opposition fan, right? That
Oh
excitement. I'm just asking, is it their birthright? Because they played Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Man City, so therefore they win all the remaining games.
Nobody
I'm not
said
sure.
that.
Okay.
no, man,
So
it's
they just
slowly.
feel like
Slowly
We're
just
taking
be
the
not
game
so.
one
saying
by
that.
one,
The
please.
point people just felt like
Uh,
they have tough start, and unfortunately, they didn't lose any of these games that are similarly tough games.
Now they
Remember last
wanted
season,
us to win. No, they
Aston
wanted
Villa
us
lost.
to win
Aston
anyway.
Villa took 6 points from them. City, of course, it's a Goliath to everybody, and they've played Spurs, not London Derby. So it's understandable if they are excited, if they are happy, if they are proud of what they've achieved so far. If we can call
Without
that
our
an
best
achievement,
wait,
players
sorry.
as
As in,
well.
under
okay, that's why I want to follow up. If you can call them, so what achievements essentially? Because this is what I don't understand
where they are
about
at the
this
moment,
conversation.
it is
You mean
it's a
fourth on the
step.
table?
The
It's a
league
good
is a
start.
marathon.
It's a good start.
It's a good start.
No, as in,
At the way City has, so for example, what Arsenal has achieved now, you've played Spurs, you've gone to Etihad, you've gone to
Villa Park.
White Hart Lane, and you've gone to
Villa
what was it
Park.
called?
Villa Park.
Villa Park. Yet you didn't lose any game. You have 7/9. If Arsenal had lost one, drawn one, and won one, there won't be pressure on Arteta. You agree with me, right? Because
sure.
people will be like, see who they've played. It's tough games. So for them to have taken 7/9, I think they've earned the right to be excited. They've earned the right to be optimistic, to be
Yeah.
proud of their team. That yes,
And
we went
the
to the
the
valley
annoying
of the
thing that
shadow
the
of
way the
death, and we
question is
didn't fear
asked,
evil.
it's not even Arsenal fans that are always asking or saying these things. It is opposition
Opposition fans,
people
because I've
and
never
the
come out
Manchester
and bragged
United
before.
people in the media. The same Manchester United people that are saying that I put an eye on Ten Hag are the same people that are trying
To stir up the whole Arsenal
to
stuff.
make email pro Arsenal because in
Yes.
their day they were Manchester, they were Ferguson boys, so they think Arsenal is still that's Arsenal, so they try to
To my
diminish
knowledge,
our
oh, all
little
the media
progress.
brains are
You guys
Arsenal
are
fans now,
you're saying you're
effectively.
progressing. Manchester United is progressing. They're drawing to Crystal Palace, but we should not be happy when we beat Aston Villa.
I did
We
not
should
say you
not be
should not
happy
be
when
happy
we beat
now.
Tottenham without Rice and Odegaard. We
Abio,
should
I
not
did not
be
say they should not be
happy
happy now.
when
Then see,
we're
and I don't know what TV Toronto is
dominating at
watching
the
now, but
Etihad for 50 minutes in the
All the
first half.
United players I see, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, all these guys, they're all Arsenal lovers now. They're all jerking off Arteta. They're all talking about how Arsenal is next in line. Judensi, give me your own thoughts. I mean,
because
like
they are not
all,
blind
all I know,
now. They are
all I
not
know is
blind.
that after 5 games, Arsenal has how many points? 11 points, right?
And what does Manchester United have?
Do they used to give future points now?
How many points do Manchester United have now?
7.
And they've not paid
7 points.
anybody. Oh.
I,
They've
I
not paid
mean, I'm
anybody
not.
of repute
And
yet.
you've won 2 trophies. Apparently, you've won 2 trophies in the last 2 years. So you should also be
Only
number two by
Liverpool.
now.
Only Liverpool.
Yeah.
At your home, remember, I was even at home. It was Old Trafford. Tell you played them,
All I
not even
said
away.
is one team has 7 points, one team
You're not
has
even
10
ashamed.
points. But some people are very sensitive because they are under a lot of pressure. Very sensitive because as far as to them, Premier League is
No,
their
no, no, no,
birthright.
no,
And if
no.
they don't
There's
win
no
it this year
pressure.
like this, Castle go
No,
boss.
there's disrespect. There's difference between
Okay.
pressure and disrespect. When they are being
What respect are you
disrespected, you
due?
are
I'm
allowed
sorry.
to react.
What respect is Arsenal due right now? As in for what?
The
What
res-
am I respecting you for?
that question you're asking, should they be worried? Are they going pragmatic? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? That is very, very disrespectful. You don't say that last season. You didn't say that when Pep came to come and defend in our ground. You didn't say
Even
that. You're not
against
saying it's Pep
Liverpool,
becoming
he
pragmatic.
went there to defend the same team.
Okay.
When they
Just
played, when they
just
were
in case
playing
there's
Giuseppe,
confusion.
when they were defensive, you didn't say is it going to be pragmatic.
Just
But
in case
all of
there's
a
confusion,
sudden,
right? Just in case there's
Arsenal
confusion.
does
I
it.
don't
Oh,
respect
is it
Arsenal.
pragmatic? Is it changing
In case
Yeah,
style?
maybe you miss. Yeah.
I think on this,
No,
Sean,
no,
on
we
this,
know
I
you
think I
don't.
agree
What
with
I say is
Dr. Close.
disrespect. You're just being
So
disrespected.
I think for some reason it seems like Pep controls the media because when he defends, like you pointed out, nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
I
Thank you.
remember
They went to Liverpool last
against
season.
Arsenal, I don't think they had 3 shots in the entire 90 minutes
Exactly.
against Arsenal.
Emirates last season
They
is
were
true.
concerned with not losing the ball. So you know what I tell people, I was talking to a friend recently and I told him something. I said Pep is a very defensive coach, but many people will not understand. He defends with the ball. So there are a lot of times where his team have no intention to go forward. They just want to retain the ball because as long as you have the ball, your opponent can score.
True.
But that's a defensive approach. It's different from the conventional pack the boss.
Yeah.
So when you see people like Bernardo Silva going to hug the byline, you see people like Doku going to the sides, just doing aimless dribbles. You know they are trying to waste time. Ederson touches the ball more than many midfielders. Why? They are just trying to buy time, run the clock down. So he's a defensive coach. And when he does all those tactics, nobody complains or nobody
Nobody
says, oh,
bats
is
an
it
eye.
pragmatic?
True.
Is it... And talking about Arsenal, dark arts, City has a lot of players that
Yeah,
are
no,
very,
they
very,
do.
very rough.
Yeah.
It was a
Bernardo
common
Silva,
thing.
one of the roughest players.
Yeah, that they were
Even
the ones
Rodri,
they were
even
the ones
Those
who
Rodri,
did
even
it.
Rodri.
And Rodri, and they call it tactical foul, which makes no
Yeah.
sense in my head.
Hmm.
I think sometimes the rule depends on who is committing the offense.
So all
So
I'm
I
here to
don't.
do, Dixon, right? All I'm here to do is take the air out of
It's to
the
stir the pot.
Arsenal balloon. So it's really
The
not like I'm just here
balloon,
to this thing. Jude,
the
Judensi,
balloon is in the sky. It's a
yeah,
break.
sure. You know, no, this one will be boss. So na trailer, na full trailer they pack. Two players behind the ball.
We were robbed.
You would think that they are the first team to go to Etihad and go down to 10 men. Something that Everton has done, right? I think even Wolves has done
My
itself.
my brother. Um, at the end of the day,
You have 11
which team
points.
is
Sorry,
disappointed?
10 points.
No, which at the end of the day, at the end of that game, which team was disappointed and which team was celebrating like they've won the league?
I think anybody who scores a last
You were
minute goal
leading.
celebrates.
Anybody who
I don't
scores that
understand. Like,
last minute goal will be happy.
this is what used to vex me about
Yeah.
Arsenal fans because the kind of things that you now
Mm.
start taking as if it's a prize. What I don't understand. Who cares who
Mm.
was celebrating and
It was the
who
last
was angry
minute
at the end
now.
of the game?
Yeah,
If
but
not,
What are we supposed to
you
do with
guys
Mm.
that?
predicted Man City to win, though. You predicted City to win.
Oh,
yeah,
come on.
Yes,
Everybody
we
I
did.
expected
expected
City to
City
win
to
the
Also,
win.
game.
I expected
question,
them to
And
question
win.
City
number
too,
two.
and they were
I
celebrating like
watched
they've won the
I
Exactly.
tournament.
watched the game
Don't
with
mind them.
I
Don't
watched the
mind them.
game
Look
with
at
Jude,
the
and
Man City.
I saw the way Jude was shivering throughout the whole game.
Who
Because
shivering? Are you okay? Why will I be
he was
shivering?
Jude was
Why will
shivering
I be
because he didn't expect Arsenal to do what they did.
And
Question
one
number
thing,
two.
you already
Question
know
number
one
two.
thing.
Question number two? Who
First
is
of all,
at
we
home?
didn't injure him; he injured himself.
Hey,
Question number two. Who is at home? Who has the honors
Exactly.
to win the game?
The City.
No,
We are the away
wow.
team. We are the away
somebody's
team.
Let's
losing
You
two
can
Somebody,
choose to
matches.
pack
somebody
the
even
bus
said
if
they were
you
going to
want
win
to.
3-1. Somebody said 3-1 on this
Hmm.
Crystal
podcast.
Judensi,
Palace fan.
let's segue, right? Let's segue
Don't mind
because
them.
I
They
want
will
to
not
move
answer,
to
they
the
will not answer their
referee.
own
Yeah.
question. Let's talk about
I
the
want to move to
referee.
the referee
About
part of this
referee.
discussion, right? And I think we're talking about it some in the group chat, and I think this game brought referee controversies back into the limelight because it was a very watched game. But I think many fans, United fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, have been complaining about poor refereeing in the Premier League for a while now. It seems to be the general consensus that the refereeing quality in England is bad. During the World Cup, during the AFCON, comparisons were made to the quality of refereeing in England. So far, the PGMOL has responded by, I think, last season bringing in Howard Webb, trying to make some one or two, steps. Now there's video assistant refereeing, but that doesn't seem to be enough. Without prejudicing Dixon's own idea of, what you call it now, referee press conferences, do you have any other thoughts on the quality of refereeing or things that can be done to improve refereeing currently, or do you think we need to even do anything, or that it levels out because it will touch everybody eventually? Um,
Is it for
No,
me?
they touch City, sha.
yeah, for you, Jude.
Oh, I think I don't know if you've said Dixon's idea because you said without touching into Dixon's.
Yeah, without he can give his own idea, but if you have a different idea or if you have the same idea,
It all depends. Controversy in football makes football interesting too. That's another angle. So, although
When is
when
when
it's
is again
a lot,
when is for you,
when
not
you
when
do
is
it a lot, then it makes the game not to be have that value again. Like people would not be interested in football. For me, I feel the what I don't really understand about the English refs is you have that mic, you have this. You can always consult the VAR person and have a conversation. Like, how do you just go ahead and make a decision and you like it's blatantly wrong?
like
And
my dean said, sorry, they don't want to disgrace his fellow professional.
but there's
I
nothing
Oh
where
mean,
it's
yes,
taking like
my dean said that.
they see it as a slight.
So
They see it as a slight when
there
VAR
goes
calls
there
them.
goes your answer.
but it makes no sense. But I just feel like if you have those tools, those are what the tools are there for to help you
Mm-hmm.
make those decisions, right? So if it's like a very, very because that game, although the like the card for the ball, you can look at it in different ways. What if the guy was moving the ball forward to play on?
mm,
You
That was
understand?
what he was doing,
Which is
Because I didn't see it as
which
him
was
clearing the ball like in
at
anger.
all.
But from another angle, it looks that way. But I'm just saying, like, what if so the referee would have just thought, or maybe he forgot that he gave him the first yellow card, so he now remember when he gave him the second one.
no,
No,
Oliver
no,
don't forget. It's
he
the
knew
same guy that
because he
gave
was quick to bring
Why
it
Martinelli
out.
yellow
Oliver
card in
destroyed?
two seconds.
Oliver,
wait, Dixon, let's get into your idea, right? And I thought about it a
Wait, sorry,
little.
sorry. Before we go
Sorry.
to Jackson, I just want to correct Jude. Jude was saying those things is meant to assist them. No, no, no. Howard Webb and the PGMOL has told us the VAR is only meant to interfere in clear and obvious
and
errors.
obvious.
It's not there to re-ref the game. So it's not
No,
assisting them.
I think
That's
I
what they said.
think
Yes,
the I think the
yes,
clarification
our
It's not
was
West
that
said that.
assistance now. It's
no, no,
not from
no. I think
assistance.
Howard Webb's
When there's clear
clarification
error,
was that
it's not like assisting them for every decision.
yeah,
It's only when
um
there's clear error. Otherwise, you can't be stopping VR for every.
But you know the problem with that. Sorry, you know the problem with that with our web's so-called clarification. How do you define what is
Yeah.
clear and obvious?
Exactly. Everybody's interpretation is different.
It's subjective.
It
So
is.
I have problem with subjectivity
no,
in
so
football. They are too much.
that's a question that's
I
a
think
question
it
for
probably
you
was
to answer,
too.
Dixon, right? Because your idea is that for increased accountability is press conferences by the referees,
Yes, for
right?
referees,
No,
I still
no,
insist
no,
on that.
and
Yes,
and I wanna
that's the only sensible thing. Okay, think
let's
about
flesh
it
out the
in your
idea a
line of
little.
work.
I want you to tell me.
Okay,
I want you to give me like a what's a in your mind. What would be like the limiting principle or something? How do you account for the human side of things?
How do you account for
Essentially,
fear?
let me
Right?
explain
yeah,
human
for
side of
yeah,
things. Okay, let me explain human side of things. So you cannot give Trossard yellow card for kicking the ball, which they said he kicked to delay the restart. Yet you didn't give Doku the same yellow for also kicking the ball, which he did to delay restart. That is not human error. That is deliberate. Whether it's deliberate or not is my opinion. I think is deliberate.
yeah.
Now it's for Oliver to clarify if there was a press conference. Hello, Mr. Oliver. You gave a yellow for this offense. You ignored B. Why? We need to hear. Lee Mason said Arsenal Brentford, the Arsenal fans will remember 2 years ago. He forgot to rule the line. VAR. He
Imagine.
forgot to rule the line.
And that cost Arsenal 2 points.
It's only a press conference that can solve that kind of
Time where
problem.
they give you
Like, you
No,
need
no,
to
no.
point.
explain. Were you
A press
blind? Were
conference
you
doesn't solve
compromised?
the problem necessarily now. A press
It does.
conference
Because
provides
if
an
you know,
opportunity
think
to
about it.
vent the anger.
No. If you know, see, it's just like your place of work. If you know that they're going to be auditors or they're going to be called internal control, if there are people that are going to probe your action, I think it will make you have a rethink every action you want to take. But imagine if you do stuff and you're not the one responsible
You're even
for
protected.
defending it. You're
No,
even
no, but
protected.
like
It's somebody else
let's
that is
but
going to
like
do.
let's
You
let's
can
think
do
about
anyhow.
let's think about the limiting principle, right?
Have you watched?
For
I
this
asked
issue
you that
now.
question, you didn't answer. Wait, I asked you that question, you didn't answer. Have you watched Mike Up before? The Award Web and Owen program.
I've seen clips from
If
it.
you watch
Like
it, you will see how that
No,
program
I didn't
is
even watch
highly
one.
pointless. I would rather
It's
watch
pointless. Now see
cement
what
dry.
Owen said in this
I would
last.
rather watch
You
paint
hear what
on the
Owen
wall
said?
I
drying. That
wanna
way
I
is
wanna
strong.
introduce like some tensions. I think they're not considering Dixon, right? Because you say you want a press conference. Okay, how many questions did the referee have
Yes,
to answer for the major decisions or for all his decisions?
the press conferences they ask coaches, how many questions do they get to answer?
No, no, it's
Do you
different
know how many
now.
press
No,
conferences
I'm
coaches
That's
do?
I'm asking
They do
you.
press conference on Friday. They do press conference when they get to the stadium.
Yes,
They do press conference
as
after
we
the
have
game.
seen recently, those press conferences can cause problem
it
because
can
Ten
cause
Hag can say
pressure, it can
rubbish
cause a lot
and
of
Postacoglu
issues, right?
because they're human beings. Sometimes in the press conference it gets combative, right? So I'm asking you, how many like if a
You don't have
referee,
to
for
answer
example,
plenty.
no,
On a
so
day where you have okay, let me give you a good question and a good example. Um Arsenal, Man U Liverpool, was there any controversial decision by the referee?
I think so.
The one they beat
If
us
you ask
3
United fans, I'm
recently.
sure I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I think if you
No,
No,
ask
there was,
United fans, they will
I
say
can't
there
remember
was one.
anyone.
There was no
no.
controversy.
There was not.
They
No,
clearly
that's
won
what.
Man U.
Who is controversy? Who is to determine what a controversy is now? One person's controversy is another person's this thing.
Okay,
What if it's a
let's ask
free kick
another
that
Man U
wasn't supposed
fan.
to be a
Dude,
free kick?
Man U Liverpool, do you remember any controversial decision
No.
that influenced the
But
outcome of the game?
Diction, what if it comes out in your press
It's
conference
not enough
says,
for his memory.
oh, he didn't see the Docus this thing and nobody brought it to
No, no. I'm
No,
sorry.
he saw it. He
He,
saw it.
He saw it because he literally pointed.
it was
He saw
it
He
it.
happened in
pointed.
It
the
He
was
first
it
pointed
was
second.
it
with his
was it
child.
was
I
not
know, but
even
like
saying
Thank you.
the ball is
I
with
think
you, play the
I
ball.
think
Yes, that's what he said.
this
Exactly.
exact thing is why this press conference stuff can never ever work, right? Because it's going to turn to fans prosecuting their
the
individual
referee.
agendas
Even before
against the
Not
referee.
fans. Why are you doing this? Is it
No,
fans
that's
that attend press
no, but
conference?
that is
it
It's
will
what
the
is
create
going to
journalists.
that
be
momentum. It will create that
because the
like
journalists will be asking questions
so
based on what
pressure.
the
It's a
narrative
good
is.
ideology. It's a good concept, but the problem is when you do it. What about the psych part of that referee? You're not looking at it.
So the referee should think
What about
about
the
it.
side
If he
part
knows
of the
I'm going to
players?
face the media, he will make better. Do you think Lemesi will forget to rule line if he knew he was going to have a press conference after that
But
game?
then he will do
Just think
another
about it. Don't
error.
answer.
He will be pressured to do another error and come out again.
Do you know what
Or
it is to say you
So
forgot
or
to
now he
rule
will
line?
now
or Jude
AVR's
let
job,
me ask you a
or
question.
your
Dixon.
He will
job is
now
to
be
rule
like,
line.
let me explain
Maybe if
something
we have
different.
overly
Let's say if he comes out
pedantic
today now
referees.
and he talks, Arsenal fans, they go to his Twitter page, his whole social media and
Yeah, yeah,
pressure
yeah,
him. The next game he's going against Arsenal, what do you think he will do?
yeah.
Then Manchester United will
Give
So
them yama
Another
yama.
do you
That's
like
what they do. That's what they do.
another
They come
another
and
thing that's
penalize you
going to help.
again.
Another
so do you
You
another
like
guys are
the
solution
current
to
you
it.
guys
do
are
you like the
records,
status
man.
quo as it
Take
is?
a yellow card.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you another
So do you like the
solution.
status quo as it is?
but we
Another
Do you like the
shouldn't
status
Pep,
quo
we
as it is
Pep,
shouldn't
where
Pep, Pep
perfect
Kick
our
is
the
web
scared.
defends
system.
Pep Kick is
the
scared. He did not
referees?
get yellow card though. He did not get any card for that action. He did
Yeah,
not
it's
get
supposed
any
to get
action.
yellow. That was supposed to be
But
yellow for
if you
kicking
go
the
and
chair,
complain
right?
to fourth
Yes.
official, you are going to get yellow card.
Yeah, that was
But
supposed.
anyways, that's
And the
still
Man City
another day.
players,
Oh no, Pep gets away with a lot of
and
things.
also remember,
He even touches sport officials, which is not even allowed.
you're not even
Because I've
supposed to
seen coaches
swap.
get
Even Man City players are supposed to be booked. You're
it's
not
the
supposed to
bias
swap the
they
referee
do
like
that.
that. It's a rule. Players are not
Hmm.
supposed to swap the referee, and they
It's the
did for
bias.
the
It's the
Trossard
bias.
thing. But
they do that a lot.
yes,
10 years from now, you hear the leak that
I
Man
think
City
I
take
think one
bets.
one other solution they should do that. They see that mic'd up, they should do it on the field, just like they do in MLS. I want to hear your conversation
Exactly.
between
That's
whoever you're talking to. I want to hear it
Yes,
live, and
yes.
let the stadium also hear it.
Like NBA. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. They do that in
Even
Let's see the
MLS.
thought
rugby.
process you're going through. Let's hear it right there. So right there, Michael Oliver is talking somebody, let's say it's talking part. We want to see what you're telling him.
But you know the problem with that? Do you know the limitation to this your suggestion? It's a very good one. I buy it. The limitation to this your suggestion is that you can only hear if there's a conversation. Mike Dean said he didn't want to embarrass his mate. That's why he didn't call him.
Seems
How
perfectly
many times
normal
have you
to
watched
me.
Oliver and speak? Wait, listen, what?
Yeah, but you're
It
supposed
seems
to make
perfectly
As
normal
VAR,
to
decision.
your
me.
guy,
You're supposed to make the right decision, though. That's why you're paid to make the right decision. That's what you're paid
I
for.
mean, I think
and he said he didn't
we're
want to
all
call him to embarrass him. So that means That tells us that VAR feel if I call this guy, I'm slighting him. If
Yes.
I call him,
Human error.
I'm embarrassing him. So I'm trying to tell you, a guy, you
Thereby
don't fuck up.
costing.
If I call
Of
you,
which,
That's why
of
let's
which,
they
if
will
you
rather
observe as well, of
ignore.
which, if you
let's
observe as well, if there's a ref on the field today, the VAR person in the next game, that VAR will be the one on the pitch, and the person on the pitch is going to be in the
Yeah,
VAR.
yeah.
They're always paired up. They're just alternating. It's the
And
same
one thing I
thing.
don't like
So
is
if
that
I'm your
most of the
teammate
times,
and I know you're making mistake, why
And
would
then
I
I
want to let
noticed
you know that
something.
you've made that mistake?
It could be my mind, but just observe it. Most times when Oliver is VAR, they seldom call him. Notice it. When not when he's VAR, when he's the center referee.
Mm.
Very rarely do you hear them calling Oliver his attention to anything. I've even watched
Because
a
it's
game
so
where they were
proud.
talking to him and was pointing his head like, no, like
Yeah,
I know
he
what I
always,
saw. He
he
was doing
always,
like
yeah, he
this.
always rejects
and the
everything.
one I
Yeah,
don't like is the
it's very,
fact
very
that
proud.
was he sending
And
to
he's their top
VR.
rep. So it's not just like you're arguing with your boss. Oliver is like their boss. I'm in the hierarchy of referees in England. He's the top. So nobody wants to call number one now. So they give him
No,
that respect, like,
I
okay,
think
okay, I
I
get that.
think the worst thing that can
So
happen to a referee is to have to face questions after a game like this Man City has now. I think a lot of
no
people
problem.
are upset, rightly so, and are trying to make perfect the enemy of the good. The system we have right now is
Yeah, but we're
flawed,
calling
right?
for consistency. That's all. Last
Especially in
season they came
England.
out
Yeah,
and literally said it that
For me,
they
for me,
didn't give a red card just because they wanted the game to flow and wanted it to be
I mean,
balanced. So what has
if
changed
you're
So
calling
between
you
for
last
know how
season
many
consistency,
times,
and this season? What has changed?
sorry,
Nothing has changed.
no,
It's,
to
look,
support
if
what Johnny
our
Boy
rep,
said. Do you know
if
how
our
many
rep can
times
come at me,
our rep
mm,
apologized last season?
to
mm.
Everton, Wolves, try Wolves, Wolverhampton. That's
So
why
So
that's
you
if
are
their
happy with
boss can
apology.
come and apologize on their behalf, they can apologize by themselves. That's the
yeah,
way it
Exactly.
is.
I
no,
need to even hear your line of thought
like
as a
no,
referee. Why
literally
did you?
Wolverhampton
How
had
can
to
you
no.
forget
take
to rule a line?
they had to bring
Forget
up
to
a
rule a line. Do
case
you know
for
how
the
flawed
body.
that sounds?
How many are you going to forgive?
No,
No,
they keep
do you know how
apologizing.
bad it was?
Our rep
Wolverhampton
apologized to
brought
my
out a this
apology.
thing that they want to cancel VR. They brought out the this thing now before the clubs voted against it.
Unfortunately, the remaining foolish 19 clubs didn't support it.
Yeah, they couldn't.
Now everybody is facing the
I know they
consequence.
cannot now, but Wolverhampton
No,
suffered last
I
season
think,
a lot.
I think again, right? If you're
They
saying
apologized to
if you're
Wolves more
saying you
than
want
once last
more,
season.
if you're saying
They
you
were the
want more
highest now.
consistency, if you're saying you want more consistency, my response to that is no shit, right? Like everybody wants more consistency, definitely. Like that is the objective, right? But we're talking about, I think, a human led, a human this thing. If you ever try to referee a football match, everything is happening quickly,
True.
going by really quickly. The referees have to be
I
following a
don't
lot of
even,
things.
Which I don't argue
See,
with you.
it's
I
not
don't even
perfect.
want consistency. I don't even want
Which I don't
consistency
argue with you.
because
But
they are
my
humans.
point
First
is
of
that
all,
I
I
always
don't
feel that
want
when you're
consistency
referee,
because it's never going to be consistent. But
yes, sir.
what I don't like is that they feel like they don't have the right to explain to the manager. Okay, you don't want to explain to the fans, no problem. But at least explain to the coaches why you made that
Why are they
decision.
explaining anything to
But
the
the coaches
coach?
will still release
And
decision.
also,
Why
and
should they
also,
explain to
and
the
also, me,
coaches?
I'm of the
Because
opinion that
because the coaches
When
Just
bad
because
ref
rise
they
it like
when
explain
when
they
Dr.
explain the
Tobes,
rules
last
to the
season
coaches.
when Mumu refereeing
there
ruled
was
off
a game.
Hoyland's goal against Ganacho goal against Arsenal, were you not happy? Were Arsenal fans not happy because bad refereeing
that
took
was
away a goal
offside. Now
against you guys?
that was
It
offside
is
now.
not
Oh,
bad
now you know
refereeing,
That
offside
by the
now.
It
way.
wasn't offside.
was
Now you know
Bad
that it's
It wasn't
offside now.
offside.
again.
that drew the
You see
line.
that knows
It
that it's
wasn't
offside
offside.
And
now.
they are saying
Same
that
thing
Ganacho
they
goal
did
was
cover
the
still
body.
referee
offside.
kept quiet.
Gabriel, I don't know that they used to defend like that. Cover body jaw. That's what
Again,
they used
like
to
I
defend to
said,
beat
I
offside
don't
trap.
care. Again, like I said, I don't care about referees. I don't care about consistency. To me, they make mistakes like players make mistake. I don't care about it. I'm only talking about it because we have a podcast, right? Well, it is what it is. But like I said, they should explain to the coaches if they make a decision because when they create new rules, they explain to the coaches what the rules are and
They
how they're
do,
going
they
to
do.
enforce them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to apply the rule one way to one team and not apply it to that team, you should at least explain to the coaches. Not
Yes,
that the
that
coaches
makes
now
sense.
be the one to come and explain the decision to the media and to the fans what the referees did, as
Well,
if they
Because
are the
even
ones that made the
in the
decision in the
same
first
Brighton
place.
game, Joao Pedro kicked the same ball out and it wasn't booked. But
exactly.
Rice did the same time, it was booked. The
I,
same game.
I think they've explained
I think
that.
about 4 years ago, Slaven Bilic, when was still coach of Westham, there was a game Mike Dean officiated. At halftime, he walked to Mike Dean. He wanted an explanation, and Mike Dean gave him a straight red. You can Google it. And Slaven Bilic said, I just asked him, can I have a talk with you? And he gave him a red. It was like,
Arteta got
can't I
lots of
talk to
yellow
you?
last season for that. Lots,
Like, I want
lots
to
of
talk
yellow
to you
last
because
season
I
for
need
it.
to understand why you made this decision. And he gave him a red, like Mike Dean. You know how trigger happy
Yeah.
is. He just flashed him a red. And Slaven Bilic in his post-match conference said, I just asked him, can I have a word with you? And he gave him red. So
Look,
I support Dr.
I
To's
think
opinion
I
here.
think there is
You need
a
to
there is
explain
a
to
middle
the
ground.
managers.
There is a middle ground to be found between accountability and pressure. Because if you look at, for example, what happened in the Europa League final, I think, right? I think there's these referees, I think, need to be protected somewhat, even though they should do better with their jobs.
But I think they're overprotected. That's what we're saying. They're overprotected.
Absolutely.
That's what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Because we just
Yeah,
gave an
You
so
officiate
example.
nonsense.
Our way
You
came out.
officiate nonsense.
Yes,
Our rep will apologize on your
thank you.
behalf. You'll be paid for the week.
Yes.
Next week, you go and do the
And
same
then you come
nonsense.
out and give the
Our
most
rep will not
foolish
apologize
excuses.
again.
He gives her
me, I
the
think
most.
No, not even you, not even you, your
the
boss.
officiating mistakes touch everybody eventually. So if Arsenal
They
fans
do,
are not
but
willing to give us
most
back our goal, I don't want to hear any
no,
complaints.
but
Like I don't
see the
understand what we're
difference. The
talking about.
difference is that Leicester will argue with you that those choices are going to cost them the Premier League. The same thing happened to Wolverhampton.
If Arsenal should give you your goal, give Coventry back their goal as well in the
And
semi-final.
make
As
everybody
well.
the return
So
goal now. We'll
make
see where
everybody
we all
make
end up at
everybody
the end of
return
this
goals.
thing, right?
Exactly.
But let's segue
City will
into
not win
the
the league. Oh. City will not win the league if you do this.
let's segue into this weekend now, right? And the games that are coming up.
No, 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 because they have. I think they're the best beneficiaries of referees' errors. Whether
Um,
it's deliberate or
They
otherwise.
are now.
it's
Every year,
Could be
it's
deliberate.
possible
every
that
time.
yeah,
It's not
it's not just
possible. It's
City now.
something that
It's Pep
was
Guardiola, Pep and Baka is something about him just makes the referees favor him.
It's just the truth,
Um,
though. If you check
but
it,
let's say
how
with
often do you see them giving penalties against City?
Yeah, the same way they'll play
It's
defensive
the
game and
same with
everybody will say like,
Barcelona
oh
now.
no,
It's not
it's
just
a
City.
classic.
It started from there. It started from Barcelona and Spain. It's not just City. The Wuru started there since. I know Johnny Boy, you don't want to talk about that one. But let's segue into the games for
He's
this
a Madrid
weekend, right?
fan. He's a Madrid fan now. He doesn't like Barcelona anymore.
It
So
was
yeah.
Barcelona before now.
You can't
It was
talk,
Barcelona.
you can't talk
But now
about his
he
era.
has
You
switched
can only
side.
talk about now.
so. Since we are talking about referee, before we go into Barcelona, I thought you were going to talk about what I was saying about Arsenal being singled out, being
Singled out
picked
as in
on.
how?
Okay, so I saw a
An article.
a news article this night where they used the word unrepentant to describe Mateta. Maybe I
Hmm.
should share my screen
Oh no, I
so you
think
guys
is it
see.
the thing about the dark arts? The article about other clubs complaining about Arsenal's the corner
No, no,
kicks
no, no, no,
and
no, no. No, this one has to do with it has to do with him not
Other teams want
with
to do it. They know if you do on the Saturday
getting
complain.
Doesn't it?
cards.
You guys
These
should.
are the same things
It has to do
these
with
were the same things saying that Arsenal didn't have Kayones. Remember?
Kai Walker was poking Gabriel. That is not that cat. That is yeah. They are playing Tinko Tinko.
Leave them.
Please.
so no, it has to do with the red cards. Can you see my screen?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Unrepentant Arsenal boss refused to accept blame for red card. So they're talking about how his players keep kicking the ball to delay restart and they're getting red. So if you read the article, my point is this: I feel it's just my thought. I'm not given to conspiracy theories, but I think Arsenal is being picked on
Me, I
because
disagree.
you're saying somebody is
Accepted.
unrepentant.
Of course, you disagree.
It's in my head. It feels like you're expecting a behavioral change. You're expecting him to behave one way. Person is not doing that
Hmm.
when you're like, you don't want to hear what,
Because
Because
Right.
she's a dirty liar now. They are doing it on
Okay.
Other
purpose.
Now,
other
They're
no,
stopping
because
other
you're
that the
speaking about my
behavior
other
is
manager.
other
working.
We have to
teams
we
do
have to
it
go
as
into
well,
this.
but they don't get punished. That's what we're saying.
Because you're speaking
So
about my manager, I have to do this, right? Because first of all, the Trossard Doku's one, they say he kicked it back to the player. He did not delay restart.
no, he didn't kick
But
it back to his player.
He
He kicked
didn't.
it
kick it away.
away
And
from
He
then
the
kicked it
Arsenal
defender.
away
players
now.
literally had to pick the ball and return it back to where it had to be. But that's not delaying restart. Trossard was still in the motion. They did on
Exactly.
Sky. They checked it. 0.8 seconds between when the whistle was blown to when he was given the yellow card. 0.8
Like
seconds.
you can
And
clearly
that
see
is
that
the
he
one that
was trying
that
to
is the one that
play
is
on.
delaying the
You can
restart.
clearly see he was trying to play on.
Okay,
That's
no
you can
problem.
clearly
You guys
see
have
it.
you guys played football. Anyways, let's look at the rules. The rules for delaying restart is this. I downloaded it for this purpose. Right. Referees must caution players who delay the restart of play by appearing to take a throw-in but suddenly leaving it to a teammate to take, delaying leaving the field of play when being substituted, excessively delaying a restart, kicking or carrying the ball away or provoking a confrontation by deliberately touching the ball after the referee has stopped the play. To me, Doku falls under that category, by the
It
way.
does now.
Taking a free kick from the wrong position to force a retake.
Even
You
Doku's
know,
face
those
after he
are
did that, you could tell he knew he had failed that test.
those are the conditions Which of these ones did Michael Oliver follow for Doku? None. Which
No,
of these ones did Michael Oliver follow for Arsenal? None. Kelechi from AFTV asked a very, very important question I would like to ask the panel, right? How can you delay a restart when the injured player is still on the floor?
that's true. But yeah, you're right. Bernard
How
Silva
can
was
you
on the
delay
floor.
the restart when someone that needs treatment is still on the floor? Please, Mr. Shell, since you support everything, please, how can you delay restart when that
I don't.
happens?
I think Arsenal fans are a combination of excited and upset, and so yeah, micro analyzing every single decision that was made that
No, no,
day.
no. But that was a
Right?
pivotal moment in the game. That's why we're talking about it. It's
What do
not
you want me
talking.
to
Yeah.
say? That
We're
I
not
agree
talking
that the
about.
referee was bad. Okay.
We don't. We're
It
not
Yeah.
was
No,
arguing.
no,
bad.
for me,
Yeah. The referee
and
was bad.
to
Okay.
answer your question, to answer your question directly, Shell, I think that referees pick on Arsenal players. I agree
Yeah.
I
because,
told you it's
and I'm going to tell you, why. I'm
and
going
they're
to tell
picking
you
on
why.
Arsenal. I
Was
said
it not?
Because
It
I
was it. Was it
referees
not the?
referees are petty. They know Arsenal fans are now on ref watch. So they would anything that other players will get away with, they'll be like, all right, that's fine. But if Arsenal will be like, oh, you guys are on ref watch,
Excuse me,
but
is it not?
yes,
Is
the
it not the
yellow
same
card. Oh
Michael
yeah,
Oliver
defend
sent
this one.
Martinelli off
They are petty.
within
Referees are
1
petty.
minute? Was it not him?
Casemiro first game in
no,
the Premier
no,
League.
Was
not
it not
one
Michael
minute.
Oliver?
Within a sequence of play,
He sent
he gave him
Martinelli
yellow
off.
and pointed and said, "For what you did here, this
Yes.
yellow is for
It's
this
the
one.
same Michael
Give
Oliver,
him a
right?
red."
Now I see what you're talking
It's
Yes.
about.
Michael
Him. He's a
Oliver.
You
mad
guys, you know, I
person.
mentioned it last week.
He's mad.
You guys
When
remember I mentioned it last week. Oliver
Yeah.
officiating your game
when
against City, you will
Casemiro
suffer.
first came into the Premier League, there was an agenda against him, and he was getting a lot of red cards. I don't like it happens sometimes. Narratives build and then referees form narratives, and that narrative informs how they treat your players. It's very good for us now.
Yes.
I mean, what do you what do you want me to say?
But regardless of your own toy, all your bad belly is not going to result in anything because we still
Okay,
the ball.
and now
Yes.
as per 10 points, right? Okay,
Still the
you're
ball.
fourth on the table and 10 points. That's all I know. I didn't. They don't used to
Yes.
give future points now, so we'll see
No, I think we
again
No,
have
at
no,
the end
11.
of
I don't,
next
it's
week.
not 10. We have 11, I think.
uh,
Because City has 13. We're just
we've
2
shall
points
played
behind
this.
them.
We've shall played the same amount of games.
Yeah.
Man United is supposed to
Oh
be
yeah,
the
11.
surprise of the season, according to you. So they should be number one by now.
Not now.
No, we shouldn't. We should not by now because last
No, by
year,
now we should be number one
no, we
because
should not be
Man
number
City
one
is
by
number
now.
one now. We the rest of us predicted them should win the league, but so they are number one.
It's
You
not
guys
by
are
game
already
week
number one
five
by they
now.
should be by now.
It's not by game week 5. There is no team in the Premier League, at least in the last 3 years that I checked, that has maintained the same position that they were on in game week 5 at the end of the season. 2 years
Exactly.
ago,
So
So
use
why?
that.
So why?
Use this your logic to
So use
answer
that.
yourself. They are
Exactly.
number 4 now. What does it mean? Nothing. Ntoy.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean anything. And we
when
are
when
fourth
Antonio
now. So
Conte
anything can
came,
happen.
he was the talk of the town. When Postecoglou came, he was the talk of the town. It's not by game week 5, so don't. But like, let's segue into
When
game
Ten
week
Hag
6
is
now.
playing, he's the talk of the town.
Game week 6 now. Man City versus Newcastle. Newcastle's at home. I think business as usual. Another Haaland. This thing. No, Wala for no get Haaland for the FPL. But it should be a straight. I think a straight City win. 2-1.
2-1 to City. No, I'm going Newcastle. Fantastic draw. A
I'm with you,
fantastic
Dr.
draw.
Toes. I go for a
Eh,
draw too.
Isaac Masterclass is going to be a 2-2 draw to me.
I go for a draw as well too.
Okay, I can see that.
2-2.
Of
2-2.
how
I go
many?
with 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. For last season,
Jude.
it was almost a draw until Oscar Bob did that fantastic. Won the game by himself. So I go with 2-2, yeah.
Oh, which during the Arsenal this thing there was a counterintuitive question that I had, right? That if Arsenal did not consider a red card, would the game have gone the way it was? Because the red card made them put all
No,
their
no,
men behind the
definitely,
ball, and
definitely,
that's what.
definitely, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have for sure. Come on.
Would you bet against? Would you bet against City?
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
He don't mind him. When I was saying that Arsenal
And by
dominated,
the
it
way
was
it
like,
was
yeah,
going,
yeah,
you're referring to the 15-minute stretch at the end of the first half when Arsenal scored 2 goals. That's the momentum that was going to
and
carry them.
No,
dominated,
the last 20.
and
No, it's not 15.
dominated,
Last 20.
Okay, plus
and
5. The last
and
20 out of
and
45 minutes
dominated,
We're
and dominated.
dominating now.
and
Yeah.
dominated. Yes.
Okay.
I think
Yes,
in
Okay.
the
I backed
second
us to
half,
win.
Pep would have changed the
I
game.
backed us. I
No,
backed us
it's
to
okay
win.
now. Say, dude, don't worry. Say it's their bet
Yeah, I
right.
It
think
Yeah.
Arsenal
Change it
two
how?
one lead.
Change it how?
No,
Two
it's
one
okay.
lead.
He didn't change it
no, no,
to the
Bros,
last
level.
season he
He
bros.
never
wasn't
level to change
never
it.
said
Arsenal
now. He was
2-1.
very careful. This season, this is the first
2-1
game.
lead away from home. It's not at the Emirates. Oh.
Oh, you
The
see,
pressure is not on
this is not
us.
saying the
That's
truth.
what I'm
He
saying now.
said that
That
he was
Man City will
defensive.
change
Pep
their
was defensive
gameplay.
last season.
Man City will change
See,
their gameplay. It won't be this.
Let's move on to Arsenal
It will
Leicester.
be different when
Exactly.
we
If
Arsenal
play
you've
not
not
Leicester.
Arsenal.
given your
no,
you've
no,
not
no, no.
given your
Sorry, sorry,
predictions now.
Jude. Your prediction. Your
Oh, do your
prediction.
prediction. Okay.
I'm trying to
Prediction.
lean
Newcastle
towards a
City.
draw, but I don't want to join this Arsenal fans.
You want to Haaland that trick,
What's
man?
it hard to tell you now?
Ah,
2-1 or 1-0, Abby.
it's a way. That's the problem. It's a way. It's a tricky one. I'm going with
Man City will
Man
blow
City.
them away. They're not going to defend at all. They will come and
I'm going
scatter
with
the
three
place.
one. 3-1.
Man City 3-1.
Yeah.
Shelty, we didn't hear your own. No.
You said
I
2-1.
said 2-1 now.
He
I said
said
2-1, Man
so.
City.
2-1-2 or Man
By the way,
City.
this is the table assistance. Okay. Okay. But yeah.
Wait, I'm 8 or 9 still.
I'm second. That's good.
Which
Ah,
kind
You only
INEC?
got
Which kind
one.
INEC result be this
you
now?
don't get any point from last week.
I did now.
No,
No,
show
you only got
as you
Villa.
and
You
I.
only got your Villa outcome. That's the only one you got.
Wow.
You said West Ham will win. You said City will win. You said Newcastle will win.
How did
You
you
said
have
Leicester
How
will
did
win.
Johnny Boy
You
pass
said
me?
Liverpool
Now you
draw.
had to say
You said
INEC
Tottenham
now.
draw.
I predicted Man City to draw now. You predicted Man City to win.
Oh,
I predicted City's
Wow.
draw.
Wow. Okay.
No, no,
they
no,
would have
Johnny boy.
won now
Yeah,
if you did
you
not
said 1-1.
go and do
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah,
1-1,
I
1-1.
predicted a draw now. Exactly. I predicted a
Yeah,
draw.
that's not the correct score now.
I know, but
So
that's one.
You
He
remember,
was asking how I passed him. He's on 14, I'm on 15, right? So he's asking. I
I
said
think he
probably
said
because of Man
1-1,
Jude
City.
is even lucky
1-1 draw.
because the reason why you're that high is because you had two correct
You
scores.
had to
Oh yeah, which one and which one?
Otherwise,
like
he had Aston Villa Wolves 3-1,
Okay.
and he had Liverpool Bournemouth 3-0.
Oh, you see, no wonder.
Mm.
Anyways, let's come back. Arsenal Leicester. I'm going for a super 2-0. 2-0. No, I'll say 2-1. Yes, at the Emirates. We don't keep clean sheets at the Emirates. I'll go 2-1.
No, they do actually. The reason why Brighton scored us was
And I
because of
think
the
I
stupid
think
red
I
card.
think Raya is also injured, so that also gives no, not a lot.
That's last season.
Most of our clean sheets was away from home. And Raya, I think Raya is injured this time as well. He had a
I
thigh
think he'll be
injury.
fit. I think he'll be fit before Leicester. I believe he'll be fit. I trust
Arsenal,
So
Neto, though. I trust Neto.
Arsenal win.
Neto is a capable deputy.
Arsenal to win 4-0.
but woo,
4 or 5.
Them South Africa Everton going down. I give Arsenal 3-0. No, 2-2. Arsenal is the team
3-0.
that if they score 2, they will relax. 2-0.
The game is to me. The game is like Arteta is going to win 2 or 3 at first half, and then bring in those young boys, and then they'll score more.
2-0. I go with
Something
2-0.
like that.
True. I
I
go
think
with
we have too many injuries for that. And Shell,
Nothing for Leicester. 3-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean, I think it's glad that we know that Arsenal now has a birthright inheritance to win the Premier League. So we'll see how it plays out. I look forward to coming here at the end of game week 6 and seeing how many points each team has on the table because that's all that matters, right? Not any type of future or history or anything. How many points you get for table as of the time.
Exactly. We're taking it one by
Yeah.
one.
So this was a fun episode. I think it was spicy, but see you guys next week.
Thank
So
you
yeah.
guys and like, subscribe, and share.